On March 31, 2026, global AI giant Anthropic suffered the most fatal security incident since its establishment. The core source code of its flagship commercial product, Claude Code, more than 510,000 lines of unobfuscated core code, was fully exposed to the public. Today, we don't talk about gossip, only the core. What alarm does this epic security incident sound for all enterprises? And how can we systematically avoid repeating the same mistakes? Let's first break down how low-level the root cause of this disaster is. The main culprit of the entire leak is a source map file that should only be used for internal debugging, which was accidentally packaged into the 2.1.88 version of the public NPM release package. Simply put, this file is a decoder between obfuscated code and original source code. Once made public, anyone can restore the original code with complete directories, variable names, and even technical annotations with one click. What's more terrifying is that on the same day the leak occurred, the Axios library, the core of the front-end ecosystem, suffered a supply chain poisoning, putting millions of developers at risk of Trojan infection when updating dependencies. The high coincidence of the two incidents directly laid out the two core risks faced by enterprise-level R&D in the open. Many people who downloaded the Claude Code source code might have also installed the Axios library that contains malicious code at the same time. Anthropic's incident is essentially the loss of control in the R&D engineering process. To avoid such problems, security control must be embedded in every link from source code to release, rather than remedial measures after the event. First, a mandatory rule of zero debugging files for production environment release must be established. In the code compilation and build link, automated scripts must be used to forcefully block sensitive files such as source map, annotation documents, and internal secret keys from entering production artifacts, and set up automated access control. As long as sensitive files are detected, the build process is terminated directly, leaving no room for human error. Second, strictly implement the minimization of release permissions and multi-node approval. The release permissions of public package repositories and production environments must be strictly restricted, and single-person full process operations are prohibited. Even core developers can only submit release applications, which must go through more than 3 nodes, including code review, security scanning, and operation and maintenance approval to complete the final release. Third, establish an artifact verification mechanism after release. After the release is completed, the automated script must perform a secondary decompression scan on the online package to confirm no sensitive files and no abnormal dependencies, forming a complete release closed loop. The Axios supply chain attack that occurred at the same time as the Claude Code leak sounded a second alarm for all enterprises. Your security boundary has long been not only inside the enterprise, but also extended to every third-party dependency and every open-source component. First, build an enterprise private artifact repository and implement a strict dependency whitelist mechanism. Prohibit R&D terminals from directly pulling dependencies from public repositories. All third-party components must pass security vulnerability scanning and compliance review by the security team before being synchronized to the enterprise private source, blocking the introduction of malicious packages from the source. Second, regularly perform dependency composition analysis and vulnerability scanning. Embed SCA software composition analysis tools in the CI/CD pipeline and automatically detect known vulnerabilities, license risks, and abnormally implanted code of dependent packages in each build, and block the build immediately if high-risk problems are found. Third, conduct continuous monitoring of the lifecycle of third-party components. Even for dependencies that have been launched, it is necessary to continuously track official security updates and vulnerability announcements and complete emergency repairs as soon as possible when high risks occur to avoid becoming a victim of supply chain attacks. Whether it is internal configuration errors or external supply chain attacks, the final risk falls on the enterprise's terminal devices. Doing a good job in the minimization permission control of terminals is adding the last key firewall to enterprise security. First of all, enterprises must realize the unified remote management of terminal permissions. Administrators can centrally manage the USB interface and network access permissions of all Office and R&D terminals through a unified web console. For example, through USB read and write control, prevent the leakage of source code and commercial secrets through mobile storage devices. Through network layer firewall rules and website black and white lists, standardize terminal online behavior, block the communication between terminals and malicious C2 servers, and avoid remote control of supply chain Trojans. Secondly, implement strict application program control. Prohibit terminals from running unauthorized software, especially unsecurity audited code editors, dependency management tools, and network debugging tools fundamentally reduce the execution entrance of malicious code and also avoid the leakage of sensitive data caused by R&D personnel using non-compliant tools. Finally, realize real-time policy synchronization. After the security policy of the server is changed, the terminal must take effect automatically without manual intervention, ensuring that the security rules can cover all terminals in the first time and leave no window period for risks. This epic source code leak incident has completely broken the technical myth that the parameters of the basic large model determine everything, and also announced to all enterprises, in the AI era, the control plane is the core of the product, and basic security is the most underlying commercial mode of the enterprise. If today's content is helpful to you, welcome to like and collect and follow me. I will continue to share implementable, hardcore knowledge of enterprise-level security protection for you in the future.